Should I be drinking wine when I do this? I didn't finish it at dinner, so I'm having it now. What about Comic Streak? Does he drink wine when he does this? Okay, so to be completely honest, I was kind of looking forward to not having to do any more videos on Avengers Infinity War. I mean, can you blame me? I did 4 in a row leading up to the film's release, and it's kind of hard to talk about a movie that you haven't seen yet. Now that it's out, no longer the new hotness, I figured now would be a good time to move on and get ready for the next comic book film that I gotta do a whole bunch of videos about. But then I saw Infinity War and those plans went right out the window. We need to talk about the ending of that film, guys. I'm spoiling Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen it, pause this video, go watch it, and then come back and finish watching this. I mean, it should be pretty obvious that I'm going to talk about the ending of this film. I mean, it's in the title of this video, but I just don't want anybody saying that I ruined it for anybody. You got fair warning. Seriously, I'm going to spoil it in 3, 2, 1. Half of the Avengers die. No joke. Thanos wins, and then like that, half the universe ceases to exist. Okay, now you can start the music. Yes, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, Thanos the Mad Titan succeeds in collecting all 6 Infinity Stones and uses them to wipe out half of all living beings in the known universe. This includes many of the Avengers who just fade away into dust. It's legitimately really shocking and surprisingly devastating. It was honestly sad to see a lot of those characters go. And then it just ends. The final shot of the film is Thanos looking off into the sunset, all happy and proud at what he's accomplished. I know a lot of people are comparing this to The Empire Strikes Back. Both films have pretty bleak, downer endings, but I don't necessarily think it's an apt comparison. At the end of Empire, our heroes are down, sure, but they're not out. They rally together, they lick their wounds, and they go out looking for Han Solo. The music swells with this feeling of hope and optimism that the battle isn't over yet. With Infinity War, the way that movie ended, it looked like it was pretty much over. Thanos got exactly what he wanted. I mean, sure, the post-credits scene at the end teased Captain Marvel coming up, but really, what's she gonna do at this point? And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Where does Marvel go from here? I mean, they can't really end it like this. For one thing, we know another Avengers movie is coming out next year. And not only that, but sequels to Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy have already been confirmed. Also, comics. Guys, comics. Nobody stays dead in superhero comics. Bucky has died at least twice that I know of and has come back just fine. But even without knowing the Hollywood insider stuff or superhero comic book logic, the fact that they would end a movie like this where half of your heroes are dead, it's a pretty bold move. It's not one that Marvel or Disney would have done very often. I know some of you might say, well, everybody died in Rogue One, but even that film ended with a bit of optimism at the end. I mean, the final word of the movie was hope. A few weeks ago, I did a video on what I thought Avengers 4 should be based on, and at the time, I said it should be based on Secret Wars, another classic Marvel event. I said this because at the time, I was under the assumption that Avengers 4 wasn't going to be Infinity War Part 2. I thought it was going to be another new story that went in a completely different direction while still continuing the threads from the last film. I mean, that's why they decided to rename it, right? I mean, that's what I thought, at least. But if you ask me, they've made it pretty clear that next year's movie is going to be Infinity War Part 2. I mean, the way they ended this one, there's no way they can't not follow up on it. You really can't do anything other than a direct continuation. So Secret Wars is out along with any other event comics you might want to see put on the big screen, like Annihilation or Siege or Secret Empire. Kidding, I'm kidding. Nobody wants to see Secret Empire ever again. So as of now, it does look like Avengers 4 is going to continue to take elements from Infinity Gauntlet, the movie that Infinity War was mainly inspired by. And in that story, Thanos also succeeds in wiping out half of the universe with a snap of his fingers. But that happens at the beginning of the story. By the end of the story, the Avengers figure out a way to defeat Thanos, and Nebula finds a way to use the Infinity Gauntlet to restore life to the universe. Now, Nebula was one of the survivors at the end of the film, but I don't think she's going to be the one to wield the gauntlet and restore life. She may play a very big part in defeating Thanos at the end, but in terms of actually using the gauntlet, I don't know. I totally wouldn't be surprised if they got someone else to do it, and maybe this is where Captain Marvel comes in. I would imagine you would need somebody with immense power to wield it and wield it properly, and maybe that's what she's been doing all this time in space, learning about the Infinity Stones and how to use them correctly in order to reverse any damage they may do. But it's not just finding the right person to use the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet itself was destroyed at the end of the film, so that's a whole nother problem that they have to try to get over. Also, how would they even find Thanos easily? The Avengers on Earth don't seem to have any sort of easy way to leave the planet to search for him in space, and the Avengers who are still alive on Titan seem to be stranded there. Those are just some of the questions I have. I still have a lot more, and I'm sure you guys have some too. I wasn't expecting to have this many questions entering the theater. And I think the main reason for that is the good guys lost. This goes against everything we've been conditioned to expect from superhero films, especially Marvel films. I mean, take The Dark Knight for example. That was a pretty bleak film, and Gordon flat out says the Joker won. But Batman will not have any of it. He will not let the Joker win, even if that means taking the fall for all the people who died.
The Joker won. But the Joker cannot win. I killed those people. That's what I can be. No.
Hell, since the dawn of superhero films, we've been trained to realize that death isn't necessarily permanent. In the original Superman movie, Lois Lane straight up dies, but Superman still finds a way to save her by reversing time. I know, it's still kind of stupid that he just reverses time, but you know what? I've learned to forgive it. At least he doesn't snap anybody's neck. The Marvel films, even the really good ones, are often very adverse to big risks like this. Even in a movie like Civil War, where a death would not only be understandable but really heighten the drama, nobody dies. It's almost as if they wanted this. They've been training us to expect the expected, only to now pull the rug out from under us. Even at their bleakest, superhero movies are all about hope and optimism and fighting for a better tomorrow. And even though we know this isn't the end of the story, Infinity War just doesn't end the way superhero films are supposed to end. And in a way, that should really be applauded. Still haven't told us where Hawkeye is though. I'm hoping he shows up in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that makes the most sense, but then again, what do I know? But what did you guys and gals think about the end of Infinity War? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it ruined the movie? Did you cry when certain characters faded to dust? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. I'll have a much more in-depth analysis of the film on this week's Wulff Den Live. I'll go into full spoilers, give my entire opinion on the movie, and Bob will too, so tune in for that. But again, only if you've seen the movie, unless you don't care about spoilers. There are some of you who don't. In addition to Wulff Den Live, you get great videos every Tuesday, Wednesday, and whenever Bob decides to stream. I don't know his schedule. I'm not my brother's keeper. Subscribe to see all of that, like this video, and share it with a friend who's seen Infinity War. Don't share this with somebody who hasn't. That's a dick move. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.